of a one-step equation is to get the variable by itself. Variables are loners. Variables like to be on their own. So our goal is to help them out. Variables are our friends. So we want to help them out. We want to get them by themselves. We want to get all those annoying numbers. Okay, we want to get them on the other side of the equation, on the other side of the equal sign. So let's start with something basic. Let's start with x plus 5 equals 10. Okay, so x plus 5 equals 10. Notice our variable x here, who wants to be alone, is not by himself. Okay? He has this annoying 5 hanging out with him. And he wants to kick 5, he wants to kick him out so that he can be all by himself on this side, on the left side of the equal sign. So, how do we do that? Okay? We need to get rid of 5. The best way to get rid of 5 of something is to subtract 5. Notice, this is x plus 5. Okay? If we want to get rid of 5, we subtract 5. And then, whatever we do on this side of the equal sign, we have to do on the other. Okay? You can even write an equal sign here. 5 minus 5 equals 5 minus 5. And then, just do your subtraction. So, x just comes down. Okay? Plus 5 minus 5 equals 0. So we can just write plus 0. And then 10 minus 5 equals 5. This 0, is it doing anything? Is it helping us out? No. So we can simplify. X equals 5. Okay? Our step here, what we did here, the reason we did it, okay, when we're writing out our steps, is we write, I needed to get x by itself, so I subtracted 5 from each side. Right? When we're doing our stuff with metacognition, when we're talking about what we're doing and why we're doing it, we need to explain what we did and why we did it. So, why we did it, we needed to get x by itself. Okay. What did we do? We subtracted 5 from each side. And that gave us this. We can check this problem. We can make sure we're right. Okay. That's going to use variable substitution, what we learned about in the previous video. So if we write x plus 5 equals 10, okay, now we know what x equals. X equals 5. So plug in 5. 5 plus 5 equals 10. Okay, does 5 plus 5 equals 10? I think it does. Give yourself a little check, and you've done that problem perfectly. Let's try another one. This time we won't explain the step. Okay, we'll just talk about it. This one, we have x minus 2 equals 7. Okay, so x minus 2 equals 7. So one way we can think about this, one way we can rewrite this problem is x plus a negative 2 equals 7. Okay. So we got this negative 2 here that's kind of hanging on. And remember, x wants to be by himself or by herself. So we need to figure out a way to get rid of a negative 2. Okay. And the best way to get rid of a negative 2, the way to get it to the other side of the equation, okay, we need to just add 2 to both sides. Okay. Think about it. We're on a number line. Okay. And we're at negative 2. If we put a negative 2 on both sides, we go negative 2 on both sides. If we go negative 2, that'll give us a negative 4. That's not good, right? We want to get x by itself. We don't want to add more negatives. What if we add 2? If we add 2 to negative 2, we get a 0. Okay? That's what we want to do. So add 2 to both sides. Okay, so we get x, negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So we get plus 0 equals 9. Okay? Simplify. X equals 9. So remember, do a check. So we get x minus 2, just rewriting the problem, equals 7. Okay, we plug in our 9. X minus 2, or sorry, 9 minus 2 equals 7. I think 9 minus 2 equals 7, so check. Pretty easy. So now let's try multiplication and division. Let's say we have 3 times x equals 9. 3 times x equals 9. Okay, we want to get rid of this 3. Let's try it the way we were trying it. Okay? So we have a positive 3 that's hanging out with this x, right? 3, this is a positive 3. Okay, it's hanging out with this x. Okay, one way to get rid of that 3, okay, from what we were doing before at least, was we would just do a minus 3, right? That would sure get rid of that 3. In fact, it turn it into a 0, right? Okay, here's the problem. Okay? If we were able to, which we're not, but if we were able to subtract 3 from this, we'd get a 0. Then we get 0 times x. What would that give us? You're right, that would give us a 0. Okay? That would get rid of x. We don't want to do that. That's bad. Okay? So, we need to come up with another solution. Okay? And what we're going to do, and I'll explain to you why in a second, is we want to divide both sides by 3. Okay? We want to divide this by 3, and then divide this by 3. And the reason we do that is because 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay? And 1 times x is x. Okay? So we divide it by 3, that gives us 1x, which is x. So x is all by itself. Okay? And 9 over 3 is 3. And let's do our check. So we get 3 times x equals 9. Plug in 3 for x. 3 times 3 equals 9. I think that works. Check. Let's do a division, and then we'll write down kind of what we've learned. Okay. So for division, if we have, let's say we have x over 2 equals 4. Okay. So here, we've written this like a fraction, but remember, this sign right here, the line across, that just means divide. So x divided by 2 equals 4. The way to get rid of this, okay, is we're going to multiply each side by 2. I do the little asterisk, multiply by 2. Okay? If you want to, you can write it 2 over 1. It's the same thing. This side, multiply by 2. The reason we're going to do this is because we're going to do exactly what we did during the multiplication one just a minute ago, is I can cross out this 2 and this 2. They equal 1. And x times 1 is x. On this side, 4 times 2 is 8. X equals 8. Let's do our check. Okay. X over 2 equals 4. Okay. Now plug in, right? Plug it in, plug it in. Plug in your 8 for the x. So 8 over 2 equals 4. And last time I checked, 8 over 2 does equal 4, so that's a check. So, let's review what we've learned. Okay. If you have a positive, if you are adding a number to x, and you want to get rid of it, you have this, then what you need to do is subtract that number from both sides. Okay? If you have a negative number, if you're subtracting a number from x, then you need to add that number to both sides. If you're multiplying a number to x, then you need to divide that from both sides. And if you're dividing, then you need to multiply. You should notice a basic pattern here. Okay? What you want to do is the opposite. You want to do the opposite of what you have. That will get x by itself, and it'll help x be happy and low.